What's up, guys? Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I think I got just enough daylight to do one more field review, so let's take a look at the SASS Pro from Uberti in 357 Magnum. What a fun gun. I'm going to talk all about the things I love about this gun, the things I maybe don't so much love about this gun, how it's been performing for me for lots of different rounds, and all that other stuff. Picked this guy up at Gunny's in Orem, Utah, and I've been loving it for not quite a year, but it's a great gun. Stick around, it's gonna be a fun review. Quick shout out to ammoinc.com, who provided me with some 357 Magnum. We've got 158 grain jacketed hollow point and 125 grain jacketed hollow point. Nice stuff, clean shooting stuff, powerful rocket coming out of the gun kind of stuff. Love this 357. So check out ammoinc.com if you're looking for some good 357 to put through your whatever. Now, for those brand new to the idea of cowboy action shooting, let's introduce you to SASS real quick. From their website, which is sassnet.com, the Single Action Shooting Society, SASS, is an international membership organization formed in 1987 to preserve and promote the sport of cowboy action shooting. Without getting too far into it, this gun is designed to be a really good performer in SASS shooting. That's why it's called the SASS Pro. Now, this is also a short stroke single action. What does that mean? Well, a lot of folks who do competition cowboy action shooting, from what I understand, because I'm not a cowboy action shooter and I'm not really in that scene at all, but from everything I've read and what I understand, a lot of folks will put short stroke kits in their single action revolvers. And that basically does what this is already set up to do. It gives you kind of a shortened lower hammer when it's in its up position and less travel to get it all the way to the rear. So that's as far back as you need to go. And when you come all the way up, guess what? You can still see your sights. You can still see all the way down your sights. So it doesn't block your sight picture, and you don't have to come way all the way down as you are getting your gun cocked. Not only is the hammer spur lower, but it is also wider, and you can see that in comparison to the Ruger Wrangler, which has a more standard 1873 style hammer spur. The wider and lower hammer spur is an obvious advantage to folks shooting in cowboy action competitions, as it would be much easier to quickly get your thumb up onto that low and wide hammer spur to recock between shots. In addition to that, we've got these, I believe, walnut grips on them, already checkered and looking fine. We've got that case hardened finish on the frame, as you can see there, and a beautiful blued finish on the barrel and everything else. So just a really well put together gun from Uberti. Now, as a lot of you guys probably know, Uberti is sort of like the manufacturer, the ones that sort of builds the guns. Then we've got like Taylor's and Company and Cimarron typically import the guns, put their stamp on it, their little twist of finishing or whatever, and then market it as the Taylor's and Company such and such, or the Cimarron whatever. But Uberti releases guns as well, just under their name, and the Uberti SASS Pro, you know, that's what this is right here. Take your time, get it. There you go. So since Uberti has started making the SASS Pro, I believe they've released it in a couple different barrel lengths. But if you look on their website and look at what they're offering right now, there isn't one that looks exactly like this, where the ejection rod comes all the way to the end of the barrel. This one, again, I picked up at Gunny's. It's what they had in the glass, and it looked good to me, so I wasn't sure if it was perfectly current or not, but it is going to be mostly analogous to what Uberti is currently offering. And it's also going to be fairly analogous to a lot of other offerings by Taylor's and Company as well as Cimarron. So if you're shopping for either one of those, a lot of what I'm telling you about this gun will apply. So I guess starting from the basics, this is a
single action army, based on Colt's single action army, which is commonly understood to have been released in 1873. This would be, in my opinion, kind of like the predecessor to the 1911 as far as its how prolific it was and how important it was as a handgun. And then, you know, sort of the next step up might be the Glock. I know there's a lot of guys out there that hate Glock, but I'm sure you'll agree that it's a groundbreaking pistol as far as sort of the technology that it employs and what it is and what it does and how prolific it is and how many of them there are out there. So I sort of trace that sort of, it's a weird kind of genealogy, but I sort of trace things back to the 1873. Now, of course, there are some other guns we could probably trace back further, but as far as cartridge pistols go, this is one of the most important that there has ever been. And for that reason, I was very much interested in picking up some kind of 1873. So again, I went into Gunny's, looked around for a little while, talked to my friend Wyatt there, and this is the one he recommended. Actually, he didn't recommend it. I looked at it and I was like, I think I want this one. He kind of said, that's a great one to get. So I ended up buying this one. But the sort of the short stroke nature of it definitely sets it apart from your standard 1873s. And there's probably some other things about it that wouldn't be completely perfectly analogous to what was available back in the day. But that's not so much what I cared about. I wanted something that was basically analogous to the type. And this SASS Pro definitely is a single action army, but it's a little different, a little extra, a little special, a little bit cooler, a little bit more fun. And man, I love shooting this thing. Shooting 38 Special through it, shooting some of this 357 through it. It's never malfunctioned in any way. A lot of folks say that revolvers can't malfunction. That's not necessarily true. It's just that they usually don't. But this thing is operated perfectly. It's held up very well. The grips are not falling off. They're not coming loose. Nothing is feeling like it's wearing out after many hundreds of rounds through this guy. And so I would say that as far as using something like this for cowboy action shooting, for competition of that sort, I would say that this is definitely going to hold up. Now, I spent some time sort of reading up on what other shooters thought of it as well, and I've seen a lot of folks who do shoot cowboy action talking about and mentioning that they love this for their rig. They've got a couple of them, and they absolutely love using this for their cowboy action shooting rig. Now, I should also mention that Uberti recently released the nickel-plated version of the SASS Pro with a pearl-like grip, but not pearl, which is very cool, or ivory-like. Yeah, that's what I should say. Ivory-like, but not actual ivory. So that's super cool. If you guys are into sort of the nickel-plated look and that, I don't know, Lone Ranger kind of feel, you would definitely be interested in that one there. But this guy, in its case hardened finish and blued barrel and everything, that one really this guy just does it for me. So as far as sort of, again, not being a cowboy action shooter, but just being somebody that wants a good representation of historic firearms that are also super fun to use at the range with the kids, with the family, this is a great one. She's pretty. I like the way she talks. Well, we've shot it a good bit today and in the past, but I've got my hearing protection and I've got some rounds in my pocket, so we might as well shoot it just a little bit more. Talking briefly about loading and using an 1873. There are some basic rules that you'll want to follow to be safe, particularly for ones that, you know, where the firing pin does actually come all the way forward, and that's true of this one. I think we can see through there, you can just see that firing pin there. So that does not recess at all as a safety measure, but you can cock that back just to here and then carry 6 if you really, really wanted to. Now, you couldn't do that for competition. They would absolutely frown on you for that and kick you off the range. But just for yourself and for whatever your needs are, that is an option right there. So it does lift the firing pin away from that cylinder, and then you can cock it like normal and then fire it. So, but let's demonstrate what you would normally do if you were in fact doing some cowboy action shooting. So you would cock it twice till that cylinder spins. You get your 5 rounds out, not 6. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 5. You will load 1, okay, 1 in there, and then you'll click, click till you get to that second chamber. 1 more. 1 more. There's your 4 and 5. At this point, you close that loading gate, you cock it the rest of the way, and then you hold the trigger down while you ease that hammer forward, and what you can see there is that that firing pin is coming through there, but it is not resting on brass. And that means that we are safe to carry this around, we're safe to use it, part of competition and all that type of stuff. And we've got 5 shots that we can lay down on some steel bad guys. So let's do that. Yeah, buddy. Oh, that feels good. 2 clicks. Open up that door. Then we got our ejector rod up here. Pushes those rounds out. Rotate the cylinder. If any of you guys saw my Ruger Wrangler video, operates very similarly, except for the fact that you do need to cock that hammer back 2 clicks in order to disengage the cylinder. So it doesn't have the loading gate disengaging the cylinder like the Vaqueros and like a lot of Rugers do. Instead, it is in fact the hammer that does that job. So just wanted to point that out. But I think we've got more rounds in pocket. We sure do. Let's keep on shooting. And I believe we're shooting 38 special here. Yeah, this is Blazer Brass 38 special. We've put a ton of that 357 through this gun today though. That's been a lot of fun. Man, it rocks. Well, there goes my ejection rod. No, I'm gonna say that has happened before actually. And I guess I forgot to mention that that happened, didn't I? I said that it's been doing fine. I forgot to mention that that happened once. Oh well. So Loctite on your ejection rod, I suppose, your ejection rod housing. But we look like we're back together, so we'll keep shooting. Man. Do you feel like I should be nervous about that ejection rod? Because I really don't feel like I need to be. This is not a defensive weapon by any means. This is a hobby weapon, one that I'm taking out for personal enjoyment, family shooting, that type of stuff, collectability. The fact that the ejection rod did pop off on me, yeah, it's a bit concerning, but it's not the end of the world. Go way out there. Oh my gosh. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Oh. You wanted me to try that long one again, didn't you? I'm not gonna. One long shot from this gun is all I should be able to expect. All right, we got ourselves 5 rounds left, so we'll shoot these and then we'll call it a night. The any 1873 is one heck of an awesome weapon. I honestly believe that. I mean, it's more historic than anything else, kind of a hobby weapon at this point with today's technology. However, it's one of those hobby weapons, one of those historic weapons that you got to try, at least try at some point. You got to familiarize yourself with the 1873 platform. I mean, this is where massively prolific handguns, cartridge handguns, basically started. This thing was just everywhere, and it still is today, and that's so cool. you can really kind of trace the cartridge handgun genealogy from this to the Colt 1911 to some of the more standard, more common handguns today. It's really amazing kind of thinking about that genealogy and that that lineage, I guess. And this is one of those more important guns that you got to get familiar with at some point. That said, I've had a good time getting familiar with it. We're going to put these last 5 rounds through it and say goodnight. I've been the late Boy Scout enjoying the SASS Pro in 357 from Uberti. Thanks for watching. Oh, and a flinch. See you next time.